Now here's Ashlee.
You know, thankfully for those folks to the north, we haven't been dealing with long stretches of sub-freezing temperatures. And so for pipes bursting, those type of things, especially, you know, for those that haven't had the power, that's the silver lining in all of it. Check out the high temperatures yesterday, a far cry from freezing. We were into the 70s across southeastern Michigan. And so 73, the high in Pontiac, 76 at City Airport, 73 over at Metro. And we're not going to be anywhere into that territory today. We will steadily be staying into the 40s. So kind of what you see is what you get for the most part today. 49 right now in the city, 44 in Ann Arbor, 45 in Pontiac, and 43 in Monroe. Mainly a westerly wind, sustained though 10 to 15 miles per hour and gusting a bit stronger than that. But this isn't the most blustery part of the day. That arrives this afternoon. So wind gusts are starting to pick up a bit since we first joined you at 4:30. We have 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts off towards Ann Arbor and Howell. And so that's going to continue to rise as these winds shift coming out of the northwest this afternoon and we get into the 40-mile-per-hour range. So wind chills will be a factor throughout the day. Right now, we're still holding on to some low 40s across the heart of the metro area for that feels like temperature. But the wind chill off to the west, mid to upper 30s. And so we'll likely be feeling like the 30s start a good chunk of the day as those temperatures are in the 40s. And that's because of these winds picking up. And so I'm going to stop the clock at 3 p.m. And that's where you notice the color contour on this map indicating the stronger winds, the oranges, the reds. And we're in that 40-mile-per-hour range out of the northwest, staying that way through about 7 o'clock before we'll start to see some of those winds die down just a little bit. We'll be breezy tonight, but not as blustery as what we have on tap for the later part of the afternoon and early evening. And so those 40s translate to 30s when you compare the temperatures to the wind chill readings for today. Sunrise will be at 6:50, so we're not that far off from it, but we're not getting a ton of sun today. Better chance for that sun to work in the next couple days. That'll help our temperatures rebound a bit, but sunset at 8:17. So on Exact Track 4D, you can see we have pockets of a few showers from Detroit up towards Macomb County and Oakland County, really that Tri-County area, stretching along 96, 696 towards Novi through Howell, and then more of that rain getting into the Tri-Cities area, Flint, Saginaw. So rain chances will be in the scattered variety throughout the day, but I think a better chance of them developing by late morning, 10, 11 o'clock. That's where our model data is picking up more of that rain that lasts through the lunch hour. Better chance for a few wet snowflakes to our north, although latest model runs making that mainly just a cold rain event. But we could have a couple more wet snowflakes develop on the back edge of this after sunset, but those would be incredibly spotty as we head into tonight. Peeling back those clouds by the time we get to midday tomorrow, and we'll have sunshine working its way in for your Wednesday and Thursday. But rain arrives come Friday, but it comes with a nice bump in temperature. 73 on Good Friday, with rain likely, maybe even a few embedded thunderstorms as we get in the later part of the evening. 62 drying things out Saturday after a few pre-dawn showers, and partly cloudy on Easter Sunday with seasonal 50s on tap. So those rain chances on Friday come in a couple waves, but like I said, the better chance for those embedded thunderstorms will be later in the day, and then the rest of the rain throughout the holiday weekend stays south of the state line. So your future forecast, 50s the next couple of days, getting into the 70s briefly on Friday before we're to either side of 60 this weekend, then rising back into the upper 60s come next Monday. Temperatures are in the 40s to start the day, and we just don't get a whole lot warmer from here. Steady 40s throughout the day with winds that are steady about 15 miles per hour, and those are going to increase as we'll have those gusts around 40 miles per hour heading into the afternoon. Exact Track 40, rain pushing through portions of Livingston, Washtenaw County. That'll work its way east, so some cold rain on tap. Can't rule out a wet snowflake or two to our north, but mainly a rain event. 46 for that afternoon high, and then we will have some warmer conditions by the end of the week. Darnell? That has to warm your heart. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what was a warm Monday across town, where we were well into the 70s, and we can thank the long-lasting sunshine, lack of rain yesterday to get us into that 70-degree territory. So 73 was our official high over at Metro Airport, but we were at 76 at City Airport yesterday. Far cry from that today, as we are in the 40s, and we're steadily going to stay there today. So we're not going to see a huge fluctuation in temperatures. The fluctuation comes from afternoon yesterday to afternoon today, that 24-hour change. But 45 degrees over at Metro. You see the camera shaking a little bit. Sustained winds out of the west around 13 miles per hour. Gusting upward of that, we're at 44 in Pontiac, 45 in Grosse Ile, and same in Port Huron. With those wind gusts out of the west between 20 to almost 30 miles per hour. And they're going to continue to strengthen as we head into the afternoon and shift more so out of the northwest. So that'll continue to give us a wind chill factor today. Right now feels like temperatures mid-30s to right around 40 across southeastern Michigan. A little bit cooler up in Sandusky, but that wind gust forecast, you'll start to see those winds picking up as we head into the mid-afternoon. So 3 o'clock wind gusts around 40 miles per hour, and they'll stay there all the way through about 7 before we start to see those winds subside a little bit tonight. Now we're still breezy, just not quite as blustery through the overnight into tomorrow. We do hold on to that northwesterly flow tomorrow, so it'll be a smidge below average, but as sunshine works in, we will have rebounding temperatures compared to today. So temperatures versus the wind chill, 40s feeling more like 30s throughout a good chunk of your Tuesday. And those rain chances will be pretty scattered all the way through midday. And then once we get in the later part of the afternoon, you'll start to see some drier conditions. And so an hour by hour look at what we have here. Cold rain through 10, 11 o'clock, even still hanging around probably up into the thumb region after the lunch hour. And then you might get a wet snowflake or two, very isolated after sunset tonight, as you see a few of those streamers still developing before we peel back those clouds on your Wednesday. And there's that sunshine that I said will help us in the temperature department, and we take that into Thursday. So speaking of sun, sunset tonight, 8:15, sunrise tomorrow at 6:50 if you're keeping track. Now we'll replace some of that sun with some clouds Friday, but we're getting a boost in temperatures. Your Good Friday forecast, 73 degrees. Rain chances, few embedded thunderstorms can't be ruled out late into the evening. And then we'll have maybe a pre-dawn shower lingering. Otherwise, we're drying things out Saturday. 62, and we're in the 50s come Easter Sunday and staying partly cloudy. So it might be cool for the early morning Easter egg hunts and services, but we will have near seasonal conditions into the afternoon. That rain on Friday, you could get brushed with a few rounds, but the better chance for those embedded thunderstorms will be late in the evening. As you see here, line pushes to the east. Pre-dawn shower could linger Saturday. Otherwise, most of that rain stays well south of the state line throughout the day Saturday and into Sunday. So with that, we're rebounding into temperatures by early next week, back into the upper 60s as rain chances creep back into the forecast. But after today, we're back in the 50s, which means that this is the coolest day of the next 7.